Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle again. This time we're going to look at how to restore what was a classic of the 60s and the 70s, the Penn Squidder. This is the model 140. There's a Squidder Junior, which is a shorter chassis Squidder. That's the model 145, and the procedures I'm going to do for both of these are identical in terms of working on the gear side and the restoration. Do you have one of these? Do you want to buy one of these? Do you want to restore one? Do you have one apart that you're wondering about how to put it back together again because maybe you weren't paying attention when you took it out? That's the purpose of this video. Kind of give you an overview of the reel, show you how to repair the reel, restore it, and make it work to your advantage. One of the benefits of the 140 or this Penn Squidder is that you have a toggle switch on the side plate, which enables you to either lock in so that you have a fixed stop, or to backpedal so you save your drags and fight the fish manually. So that was an improvement there. The second improvement is that this is a 2-ball bearing reel. So it has a ball bearing sitting in the drive side and it has a ball bearing sitting on the back side. This reel is different from a Penn SurfMaster, which is sometimes called the Squidder Junior or Squidder Wannabe. Here's an example of that. Very much the same frame. You'll notice that it has the standard side plates, which are bushing rather than bearing, but they feature a lot of the same things, such as the take apart single screw. Okay, so let's get started on this one. This is a single take apart screw, so you simply unwind the screw, pull, short turn, and you have the inside of your reel. In this case, nice inside, right? It's got stainless steel bridge plate, high quality stainless. Looks like stainless on the transition piece to the free spool lever. Looks like we got some grease and stuff in there, but otherwise a relatively clean reel. So we get started by taking the handle off the side plate. It's got a lock nut in it, so we take the lock nut off. Put that in a parts bin. I always use a little parts tray. In this case, it's the bottom of a milk jug. I'm going to put the spool assembly and the lake in there. Take that nut off. Now I use an aftermarket nut wrench, but there's also the Penn Wheels wrench if you have that one available to you. If not, I guess you could be you could use a pump pliers, but I would tell you just be easy with it. I hate wrenching nuts off with pliers. All right, handles off, nuts off, back off the star drag. Star drag has got an indented side that keeps water out of this plate, and then there's a ferrule that presses down on the drags to tighten and loosen the drags. All right, the side plate. Side plate's got 4 screws to it. Those correspond on the inside. The 2 upper ones are partially threaded. It's because springs ride on these, and if they were fully threaded, the spring could catch. You'll see that one. Just remember that when you do the reassembly, the partial threaded screws go up top, and the screws on the bottom are fully threaded. Don't need the ride springs, but there is a dog that rides on those. And then you'll notice I'm wearing a latex glove. You saw some extra lube on the inside there. I like to keep those things off my hand where possible. If it's a really dirty reel, I'll put a glove on this hand, but dexterity wise it's tough for me to work small parts with the glove. You'll also notice when I remove all of the screws, which is what I just did here, that I keep the plate in my hand because the dog does have a spring on it and I don't want that going shooting out. Okay, so push through, slowly remove the plate, then you'll see the dog spring assembly. And in this case, it's a little bit different than the other ones because it toggles, so the spring is actually embedded in the dog here. Just be very careful with that one as you work not to lose that spring. If you do, you're going to be waiting to buy a replacement for that. This bridge is the same bridge that's in the SurfMasters and the like. This bridge is up from the Beachmasters in that it uses a Model 60 Long Beach, bigger drag, as opposed to the smaller ones that are designed for the Beachmasters. That means this also has a higher retrieve rate as well. Okay, we're going to take these off. And it looks like these may have been replaced. Oh, they are replaced. These have new drags in them. So I'll just show you how the drags go for the purposes of your work on this one. But if you need to replace the drags, you push out from the back. Make sure that you have your backing washer on there. Main gear goes on. Then these are in nice condition. They probably could use a little bit of grease. So it goes the main gear, fabric, metal, fabric, eared washer, that's one with the 2 points on it, fabric, and then final, and then the cap goes on top of that. I'm going to put a little drag grease on that. Dry grease, I use Cal's dry grease. There's others in the market out there. You should keep a little bit of dry grease on your fabric washers, only so that they don't dry out. Don't put too much on there, but enough just to keep it lubed and help them work in. Okay, so the first fabric, and then we're going to go put the first metal one on. I'm going to grab a little bit more dry grease for that second fabric washer. Now here's a tip on the drag washers. When you're not using your reel, back the drags off. Don't keep them compressed. It tends to push the grease out of these, and makes the wear on the washers more significant. Okay, there's your last piece of that. Last of the metals. You notice that the middle one went into the ears, went into the little indentations there. And then we're going to put that cap on, and we're going to set the bridge aside. On this side, we got a little accumulation of grease, so we're going to want to clean that up. I also notice on the main gear housing, there's a little bit of grease there too. So you press in on the carrier position, and pick up on the transition piece, bring the collar and the gear out, and then we're going to go clean that up quickly. I use a WD-40. General degreaser is fine. One of the best tools I have in my shop are cotton swabs, Q-tips, and if you notice, you can bring that out pretty good like that. Now you got a burring in the back here. If this was a bushing, you would use a real grease for the lube, but it's a burring, so I use a real oil. In this case, I use Real X, and just a little application there is fine. We have a little bit here. We're going to go clean up off the free spool release. Okay, and we're going to reassemble then. So I have a clear collar, so I'm going to put a little bit of grease on that. Again, this is the Penn grease. There's a lot of other manufacturers out there you can use. Reseat the gear. While you're looking at the gear, make sure that all of the teeth are in there and that they're not damaged. Sometimes they get caught up and wrenched, at which point they would have to be replaced. Push down on the assembly, bring your transition piece back in, and that's kind of the way you found it when you took the reel off. Okay, so now we've done the bridge already, so press down again, put the bridge in, turn it about halfway so that you're covering the bearing. Take the threaded screw, which goes on the bottom plate, place that in there. Take the dog assembly that you saw before with that spring in it. Dog assembly sits on top of the screw, and then this little spring, you'll see that there's a little corresponding mound here, and that spring just gets pressed up against that. Complete the rotation of the bridge assembly, and complete the reels. Finally replace the three other screws, and you're done with the side plate. You've rebuilt the reel. All that's left now is to put the collar and the star drag on, reassemble the handle. But before you do that, you want to test. And it's turning the way it should. Squirt of oil on the main pinion shaft. Ferrule. Drag screw. Handle. Handle nut, and you can see that the parts tray works well. You're not looking anywhere for these pieces. Set screw, and we reverse the process of taking it apart with a rebuilt squidder. Back to the main gear, seated, twist, tighten the adjustment screw, test, make sure you can back pedal the reel, pedal forward. Complete. Success. So I hope that's helped you in rebuilding one of these and showing you the proper alignments and mechanics behind it. If you like it, please view my other videos. This is Dennis at Second Chance Tackle. Subscribe to my channel if you will. There's plenty of these that I do, and I hope you enjoy them. Thank you.